The Arya Mahameghavahana Chedis of Kaiinga Hathigumpha Cave inscription of Kharavela, province, Udyagiri Hills near Bhubaneshvar, Puri district, Odisha. Partly in front and partly on the roof of the Hathigumpha Cave script, Brahmi of the period from the beginning of 2nd century BC to the end of the 1st century BC. Language, Prakrit resembling Pali. The title, Maharaja, is first noticed in India in the numismatic records of the Indo Greek kings in the first half of 2nd century BC. Mahameghavahana is family name. Similar family names occur in the Kashmir chronicle. Nanda Raja has been identified with a king of Nanda dynasty of Pataliputra, and the phrase ti-vat-st gives the sense of 300 years after the Nanda kings. This is pertinent to mention that Nanda dynasty was supplanted by Chandragupta in 325 BC, and 100 years after this date shall bring us to 223 BC. We know Kalinga was under King Ashoka up to 236 BC and possibly both his successors for a few more years. That would leave no time for Kharavela's ancestors, at least two in no to rule there. So this phrase must have been used here in the sense of 300, which may be a round number. The Nanda dynasty ruled in the northern part of the Indian subcontinent during mid of 4th century BC. Nandas were militarily very powerful and prosperous rulers. The Nandas had overthrown the Shashunga dynasty in the Magad region of eastern India and expanded their empire to include a larger part of northern India. Ancient sources differ considerably regarding the names and the tenure of the Nanda kings and the duration of their rule, but based on the Buddhist traditions recorded in the Mahavamsa, they appear to have ruled during mid of 4th century BC. English translation of the inscription. 1.1 Salutation to the Arhats. Salutation to all the Siddha. The noble Maharaja Mahameghavahana Sri Kharavela, the lord of Kalinga, who caused the Chedi royal family to flourish, possessed suspicious marks and qualities renowned to the end of the 4 quarters. 1.2 For 15 years played children's games, with body rendered dusty brown and charming. Then, after having become expert in writing, science of coins, mathematics, law and legislation, in short, after having become bright in all the sciences, ruled for 9 years in the capacity of Yuvraj. After having completed 24 years, at that moment, and with victories growing ever since childhood, like those of son of Vana, was appointed king. As the third 1.3 male ruler in the family of Kalinga, and having been appointed in the first year, repaired the Kalinga city, namely Khobira, whose gates, the fortification, wells, residential buildings had been destroyed by storm, and got constructed the embankments of cool lakes, and got all the gardens relayed. 1.4 And pleased the subject by spending 3,500,000 coins on welfare. The second year, disregarding Sakkani, dispatched a large army of horses, elephants, foot and chariot to western quarter. And with his army having reached the Krishna Anna, again in the third year. 1.5 Andam. 1.6 Versed in the science of music, he entertained the capital by organizing shows of dances, wrestling, oral and instrumental music, and by holding festivities. Then in the fourth year, the Vidyadhara board, which was laid out by the former kings of Kalinga, and had never before been damaged, and caused all the Rashtrikas and Bhojkatiyar Vinbiales or provincial governors and Jagirdars to be his feet, false crowns, with their royal umbrellas and golden pitchers felled, with their jewellery and property confiscated. And now in the fifth year brought to the capital the canal, excavated by King Nanda 3 centuries earlier along the route Tanasujia, and having been appointed in the 6th year displaying royal wealth. 1.7 He bestowed on the people residing in the cities and villages many lakhs of corns and favors of all forms and descriptions while reigning in the 7th year. In the 8th year, having caused Gorthagiri to be destroyed by means of a large army. 1.8 He ransacked Udyagiri, half frightened with the reverberations of the glorious act the Greek king.